Namaskar. I'm Prachi Gupta and you are watching SciTech, a show where we unravel the science behind everything. Mars, our planetary neighbor, has always piqued the interest of space scientists. While several space agencies have tried reaching Mars, only NASA, Soviet Union Space Program, the European Space Agency and the Indian Space Research Organization have been able to achieve this feat till date. This July, 3 countries are all set to send their spacecraft to the Red Planet. Let's know more about these Mars missions in this small video.
Does life exist on any other planet? Is Earth the only habitable planet? What makes the Earth a living planet? Will other planets also become fit to live in course of time? Or can we make them so? These are a few questions which cross our minds time and again. In this quest for life on other planets, scientists have been the most interested in our nearest neighbor, Mars. With soil to extract water, atmosphere to absorb harmful sun rays, and a similar day-night rhythm as Earth, the red planet contests well for a habitable sphere. So with the hope of life on the planet, several Mars missions have been carried out since the 1960s to understand our neighbor better. The Earth and Mars are closest to each other after a window of 2 years and 2 months. A period which is exploited by the space agencies to start their voyage. July 2020 marks completion of another such cycle. So the launch of 3 space vehicles, the Hope probe by the United Arab Emirates, Tianwen-1 by China, and Mars 2020 by the United States towards the Red Planet has been planned. The Mars mission by the European Agency was also planned for July, but postponed amid the COVID outbreak and other testing issues. The United Arab Emirates Hope has already begun its voyage on 19 July 2020 and is expected to reach Mars by February 2021. It will be joined by Indian, American and European spacecraft to study Mars. Hope orbiter is carrying 3 instruments: an infrared spectrometer, an ultraviolet spectrometer, and a camera for studying the Martian weather all day long, and will investigate how dust storms and other weather phenomena near the Martian surface speed or slow the loss of the planet's atmosphere into space. With more and more information culminating through the interplanetary explorations, the day is not far when humans will set their foot on the Red Planet.
As kids, we all have been fond of teddy bears that represent bears in all forms and shapes. But here is a scary fact. We are going to lose the most popular bear of all, polar bears, to climate change. Yes, as per a recent study, if we continue to increase the greenhouse gas emissions at the current pace, polar bears are going to be at the brink of extinction by 2100. Let's know more about this study in this small video.
Made of dense white fur, the large bulky polar bears are a sight to behold for those who visit the chilly places around the Arctic Circle. These beautiful creatures are currently listed as vulnerable by IUCN's Red List, and a new study published in journal Nature Climate Change has now increased the concerns about the survival of these beings on our planet Earth. As per this study conducted by the American and Canadian scientists, the polar bears will have difficulty finding meals for themselves due to the melting of ice in the future. Actually, polar bears are poor swimmers and they attack seals when they come up from under the ice to gasp a breath. In short, the ice sheets help polar bears in grabbing their food. Now, as climate change is increasing the rate of melting of ice, the duration between the melting and refreezing of ice is becoming long. This duration is going to further elongate if the greenhouse gas emissions continue at the current pace. This would make the polar bears fast for longer durations, affecting their both physical and reproductive health. As per the scientists, by 2100, the new births in the population will be severely compromised are impossible everywhere except in a few polar bear populations, such as Queen Elizabeth Island subpopulation in Canada's Arctic archipelago. The bad news is that not only polar bears, but we are also set to lose up to 50% of the current biodiversity on our planet if the status quo remains. Well, it's indeed high time that we humans mend our ways of living to ensure that we and other living creatures on the planet can live sustainably for centuries to come.
Our planet Earth is full of wonders, and the aurora on the north and the south poles is one of them. People find it amusing to travel thousands of kilometers to see the brilliant light shows of nature. But what is aurora and what causes them? Let's find out.
Aurora, also known as Aurora Borealis in the North Pole region and Aurora Australis on the south, is a natural display of light in the Earth's sky. Even though auroras are best seen at night, they are caused by the sun. At the center of our solar system lies the sun, the yellow star that sustains life on our planet. This star sends us more than heat and light. It sends us a lot of other forms of energy and small particles. Some of it doesn't reach us, as the magnetic field around the Earth blocks it and it goes unnoticed. But the sun doesn't send the same amount of energy all the time. There is a constant streaming solar wind, and there are also solar storms like coronal mass ejection. In this, the sun burps out a huge bubble of electrified gas that can travel through space at a high speed. This electrified gas, also known as plasma or solar winds, sometimes hits the Earth's magnetosphere. The force of the solar winds impacts and flows around the magnetosphere and changes the shape of Earth's magnetic field. Earth's magnetic field lines converge at the geomagnetic north and south poles. When a solar storm comes towards us, some energy and particles travel down the magnetic field lines at the north and south poles into the Earth's atmosphere. There, the particles interact with the gases present in our atmosphere, resulting in a beautiful display of lights in the sky. Oxygen gives off the green and red lights. Nitrogen glows blue and purple. And we on Earth see the colorful combination of lights.
Time to wrap up this episode of SciTech. You can share your feedback and suggestions to us on the email ID flashing on your screens. But before we end, here is a fact of the day for you.
Did you know polar bears are actually black in color and not white? Their skin beneath the fur is jet black. Polar bear's fur is translucent and only appears white because it reflects visible light.